All right, so we're back at the OPCD Web App screen, and we're going to authorize. Remember how to get here. You can go into Discord, and the Getting Started channel has a link, or you can do like I do and just bookmark it, and it's easy to find. But each time you come in, you're going to have to authorize. And like I said, it's really quick. You're going to go to your registered user. You're going to OK. And we're going to pull it up. You remember in the previous overview on the workflow part of the app, we created our golf course. So we're going to go into workflow, and here are all of my golf courses. We're going to do the XYZ test that we created. This was the one that it could not locate, and we had to enter manually. So we're going to open it up first. We're going to be working on the terrain Lidar section. There's a lot of important parts of building a golf course, but if you don't have good terrain and good Lidar, then you're not going to have a good golf course. I mean, that's just period. There's no way around it. So this is a very important section that we're going to work through. If you've got the course that you were not able to find and you had to enter manually, remember, when you pull this up and you go into this little locator, you're going to have to enter an address. So right now it's on the default. This is the default area that will pop up every time. And if you had to enter your course manually, every time you come to this screen, you're going to have to enter the address. So enter your course address, whatever it is. Remember, hit the little search magnifying glass, click one of the addresses that comes up. That's what's going to get the geo-reference tags. Then you'll do your box, which we're going to go over on the other course, but you'll do your boxes, you'll hit save and continue the process. All right, so we're going to get out of this. We're going to go back to courses, and we're going to get the one that I actually need to work on. So this Bald Mountain course is the one that I'm actually working on. I'm going to open the dashboard. So it's going to already have my location saved. So when I open my map selector, we're on the terrain Lidar section. We're going to open the map selector. It's going to have my golf course highlighted already. I like to maximize this screen because it makes it a little bit easier to see. You can zoom in on this course. You can zoom out and see the surrounding areas. You're going to need to know kind of where your golf course is. Okay, you can do that on Google, Bing, any of the maps. You can find your golf course, kind of have it planned out what you're wanting to map out. When we do a golf course, we're going to have two different types of terrain. One is going to be your inner terrain, and one is going to be your outer terrain. The inner terrain is going to be more detailed. It's going to be any playing surface. Think of it like this. Any playing surface, anywhere a ball could land, and then extend it a little bit. Because if you get up really close, let's say you put your line here. Yeah, you've got the playing surface, but when they come up to this edge, they're going to be able to see out beyond that edge. And when you do an inner and an outer, I don't care how good it is, you're going to be able to see a little transition there. So don't be stingy with your inner. You don't want to extend it way out here because you start getting a lot of detail with the inner and you don't get as much detail with your outer. So that's the reason to use an inner and an outer. It saves file size, download time. You want to get it as small as you can and include everything you need. All right. So I know that's kind of a confusing statement. So on this course, this has a lot of mountains surrounding it. So I want to make sure I've got my entire course, and I'm going to extend this out a little bit. And we can do it a couple of ways. We've got presets here, or we can use the little slider, and it's going to increase the size of our inner box. All right, this one, I want a good bit on this one. Now, I don't recommend this on every course, but On this particular course, I want to get some of this lake because this lake is very viewable. So I'm going to extend it out probably 25. Let's see where that puts us. It's got a good bit of the lake viewing. So 2,500 is 2.5 kilometers. Mental math here, 10K is 6 miles, 3 miles. So around a mile and a half, 2 miles. Visibility, you start losing visibility at that point. So, if you can get 2,500 total, now that's total here. So we're only probably half a mile or so right here. So this one will be unique. I wouldn't do it on most courses, but I think I'm even going to extend this out a little bit more just to get me a little bit better there. I don't need as much up on this end, so I'm actually going to, each left click moves your box, and then left click and drag moves everything. So we're going to get that box about where I want it here. I think I want it right about there. That's got enough on that end. It's got a lot of the lake on this end. So that looks pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to enable my outer. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And this video is probably going to run a little long, but there is a lot in this video. And this is an important part. All right, so our outer, when we click this 1,000 is 1,000 on each side. So if we've got our inner at 2750 and we click 1,000 on our outer, it's actually going to make this thing 4750. Again, this is a unique course. Most courses, you're not going to really get that far out there. This is a mountain course, and I do want to capture some of these mountains. I can do some other stuff to get the mountains, and I will on this course, but I want to get a few of these mountains as detailed as I can. So again, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to extend this thing out at probably 55. Yeah, that's going to get a really big outer, a really big inner. So this would be the outlier. You're not normally going to use these numbers, but on this one we are. And again, you can, once you get this outer, if you needed to move this box, left click, left click, left click, it moves them together. So they'll stay kind of proportioned. That looks pretty good right there. All right, so once we get all of this, we get our location, we get our boxes drawn, we're going to save and return. We're going to come back to this screen. It's processing it. All right, so now it's got my location, it's got my inner and my outer saved. This preview screen, it's not real reliable still at this point. This is June 20th, 2026 that I'm shooting these videos. But it may improve, and it may already have improved, but don't necessarily go by this preview window. So there's a couple of ways we can do this capturing our Lidar. One I'm going to come back to, and that is to bring your own Lidar. It's very specific. The other two is just an auto select. So if I click this submit terrain request, the app is going to look and it is going to find the absolute best terrain that it can for this particular area. This is the way you're going to do this 90% at least of the time. You're just going to click this green button. If you click the green button and you check your Lidar and you have some issues, you can do a couple of other things. We can select a specific project. So this starts getting a little more advanced, but if you know that there is a specific date range that you want, or if there is a specific type of project that you want, these North Carolina Lidar typically are really good. So I'm going to do the auto select because that just most of the time it works. Auto detect is recommended, but this will show you the coverage amount and the number of tiles that it's using for the coverage amount. It sometimes will show the resolution. Again, this is not always exact. When you're looking at resolution, the smaller the number, the better. All right, so we're going to skip that for now. We're going to hit this terrain request, submit terrain request. We want to uncheck this box. I almost forgot. We're going to uncheck that box. We're going to submit terrain request, and it will show pending right here. We will get a little pop-up from the OPCD bot. I was hoping it would pop up quick where I could show you. And then it's going to run the processing of the LiDAR for you. This does take a little while. I'm going to pause for just a minute until that happens. All right, so I got my first pop-up. It's going to come in as an OPCD Golf bot, and it will pop up on your screen if you've got notifications allowed to pop up. I forgot I hit them for this video so that we wouldn't keep getting pop-ups all over the screen. But it will pop up. So you don't, once you submit in the app, you can close that out. Everything else is going to be handled within Discord and the Golf bot. So you'll get your initial little notification here. We've begun processing your terrain request for your course. And once it processes, you'll get another notification and a download link. So I'm going to pause until that happens. Yeah, there we go. Let me pause this. All right, so we're back. Everything downloaded. This was the initial little pop-up that I got about the terrain package had started. Oh, wait, had started. And then this is the second one that you'll get, that it is ready. And it'll tell you the elevations. It'll tell you the resolution. So I've got 0.7 meters, which is really good. Tells you the height range, and it tells you your sizes. So I've got a 2750 inner, a 5550 outer, and it gives me a download link here. So we're going to click the download link. It's really fast. All right, and it's going to go into our little download folder. I'm going to do a separate video on actually bringing this into your Unity file, because it needs its own, and how to actually use the tool within the file. So I'll do a separate video on that, but there's your file, easy enough. All right, so the other way to do this, let's get out of this, let's get out of this, let's get out of this. We're going to go back to our app. All right, so if we had bad LiDAR or no LiDAR available, we've got a way to do this. I'm just going to pull this one up because this is kind of one of my tests here. We've got another way we can do this. We're still going to hit the run another request. We're going to open the map selector. Okay. So this, since I had Tupelo saved with all of the data, remember, it pulls me straight up to the course. So we're going to do our little boxes again. I'm not going to mess with it as much on this one. We're going to save. And then we can bring our own LiDAR package in. So if we do this, we've got to do a couple of specific things. We're going to check this box. It's going to say, make sure that you do own the rights to the LiDAR. Some of them are protected, so make sure you do own the rights. Okay. So we've got to create a file to go here. So to do this, and I'm not going to get into specifics on how to get LiDAR, because that's a whole nother story, but you would go somewhere like USGS, you would find LiDAR, you would download it. All right, I've already done that. So once you download it, it's going to come in as a file here. So it's a TIFF file. We've got to create a file to hold it. So let's say we had multiple different types of LiDAR. So sometimes it's not one file, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's 20. So we've got to create a folder to put all of those in, because we can only have one folder. So we're going to make a new folder, and we'll just call this one Tupelo _ LiDAR. And what we want to do is however many files we have, we're going to drag those into that folder. All right. Now, once we've got this folder, we've got to create a zipped folder. And we're going to do that by right-click. This little drop-down is going to pop up. You want to go to Show More. This little pop-up is going to come up, Send To. And we want it to be just a normal Windows compressed folder, not a zipped folder, not a zip, 7-zip, excuse me, not a 7-zip, not a RAR. Make sure it's the normal Windows compressed. We're going to hit that. It's going to create us a zipped folder. Once that comes up, we're going to click that. We're going to right-click it. We're going to copy it. And we've got to put this on some type of a shared drive. You can use Dropbox. You can use Google Drive. I typically use Google Drive for most of mine. I've already got that pulled up. I thought I did. Maybe not. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're going to go to Google Drive right here. Let me back up. We'll go back out. My Drive. And what I did, I created a Lidar test download folder that I put any of them in that I'm doing. So we're going to go to that folder, double click it. You can see I've got a couple in here. We're going to right click in the white space and hit paste. That's going to bring that file in. It takes it a minute to upload to the cloud. You have to let it upload to the cloud. So what I'll do is I'll show this one for now. So once it uploads to the cloud, you can right click, go down to Show More Options, and we want to Share with Google Drive. So we're going to click that. This little thing will probably be set to restricted. You have to hit the little download and change it to anyone with the link. And then we're going to copy the link. All right, we can hit Done. Minimize, minimize. We're going to get back to here. Okay, here's where we are. All right, so once we get that link, we're going to put that link right here in our Lidar file URL. We're going to right-click and paste it. All right, and then we're going to hit Validate and Upload. And what that will do, it's going to process for a minute. This typically takes a little bit longer to process. So I'm not going to show you all of it. It does the same exact thing. It'll go and it'll give you a little pop-up. Looks like it may have already done it. Yeah, so it's already started it. And then once it's finished, same thing. It'll give you a pop-up with the download link, but we're not going to deal with that right now. Let me pause for a minute. I think that's it for the app, but I want to double check. So let me pause real quick. Okay, so that is it. That is everything in our terrain LiDAR section. So that's going to end this video. I will do the next video will show how to actually bring it into your Unity file. So we're going to end this one for now.